It's my only medicine, yeah. Everything I do, I'm just being genuine, yeah. I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline, yeah. I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, playful, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine, yeah. Everything I do, I'm just being genuine, yeah. I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline, yeah. I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one.
Welcome to the live stream. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let's take that back. Last week, I forgot to turn the reverb off. I think I did the first minute on fucking reverb. Anyway, before we start the live stream, a couple things I want to go over. First of all, I woke up this morning feeling fine, but my throat hurts. And that's usually the onset of like a 2 or 3 day fucking sore throat thing. So if I sound a little like I've smoked a bunch of cigars or something, that's probably why. But I feel fine. So just keep that in mind. I want to quick start off by talking about high dose TRT. Again, you know, I'm the one that really is one of the biggest advocates of this for people who can tolerate it and for people who need it. The bottom line, what I found over the years is that there are individuals who don't get symptom relief until they get to like 300 milligrams a week. Yeah. And, you know, sometimes their blood will respond like a normal person's blood responds to TRT in that, you know, their levels go up to 1500 on 150 milligrams, you know, and like we would just think like by looking at that's enough. And you know, DHT is like at the top of the range, estradiol is sitting at 40 or whatever. Like it really shouldn't be a problem, but they might be somewhat anabolic, but not really anabolic. But it's mostly the sexual system that suffers in these people. Then, though, if they go up to 300 or 350 or 400 milligrams, and these guys are on like low-level cycles, is what we would typically consider that, then suddenly they get erections spontaneously, and everything starts fucking working again. Now, alongside that, obviously, comes with the necessity for health management. You know, if you're more inclined to have increases in blood pressure as a result of higher levels of androgens, then you might need to try to manage that with tadalafil, which is kind of a double powerful thing. Like it gives you better erections, at the same time can manage your blood pressure a little bit. Hematocrit is usually the biggest problem in those cases where people start pushing above 50, where for some people they don't have symptoms, for others they get short of breath and their limbs fall asleep fucking super quickly via the thickening of the blood. And at that point, you want to look at things like naringin, doing phlebotomies, doing a lot of cardio, and drinking about a half a gallon to a gallon of water a day. What I want to do, though, before we take questions, is I just want to go to a Reddit thread which is titled How Many of You Didn't Feel Better Until You Raised Your Dose. We recently talked about this when we went over and reacted to Ryan Root's video on, testosterone and naturals not feeling good at 400, 500. How would they? It's got to be higher than that. The guy goes like, once a week, I see threads on here where guys are saying taking less testosterone, lowering your dose is what resolved all their symptoms. Now, this is fucking true. This is why this is paradoxically confusing, because some people will take less testosterone. They drop from 200 a week to 120 and they feel way better and their libido works. They're complete opposite of the people that I'm talking about here. Their hematocrit goes down and they start feeling fucking totally fine. Their bodies are not designed to have high levels of testosterone, or they're not treating some condition where high levels of testosterone are necessary, like heavy penile fibrosis or long-standing ED, which testosterone at higher doses is usually warranted. Then he goes, but what about people who didn't get relief until they took more, okay? Until they took more testosterone to the upper ends of what is considered TRT. Yeah, so sports TRT is what I would call 300 to 250 to 350, and then above that, you're talking about a mid-level testosterone cycle. What was your experience like? I'm wondering if this is as common as people find relief going on a lower dose. We'll read the first comment here. There's a couple of these. Here's a guy that says, I went on it mostly for energy. My libido and muscles were always fine. I didn't get symptom relief until 250 milligrams a week. 250 a week. Now, like, this guy, he got a lot of upvotes here, but there's a lot of fucking people on this forum that would downvote that guy. They would probably say, oh, like, it's maybe you need more estrogen, or like maybe it's lifestyle. They're just basically people's fucking making shit up. And but like, look, it's just cut and dry. This guy only got symptom resolution at 250. Went up to 600 milligrams a week at one point, but 200 to 300 a week, I feel the best. And he's at 1800 to 2200 total test range. That's really not bad. I really don't consider that a problem. Blood flow increased, even higher hematocrit. It got up to 54%. Now it's around 50 to 54. Doc is not concerned. Now, I disagree with this notion. I think if your hematocrit is above 50, you probably want to get it down. It's really not something you want to fuck with. I see some YouTube TRT channels out there going like high hematocrit's not a problem. I'm not sure how those folks, some of whom are doctors, are able to continue to practice with fucking licenses giving advice like that, because that's dangerous. You don't want it above 50. All right, so it might not have side effects, and some people can get away with that, but generally speaking, you don't want to fucking above 50. Let's see. There's another one here that I wanted to highlight. This is a different thread. This guy goes, it's essentially the same question. How many of you didn't feel better until you went on higher doses of testosterone? And this guy goes, me, had to go to 360 to 400 milligrams a week. I didn't realize how much of a difference it made until I did it. Feel amazing. Every man is different. Lower doses is good for some and for maintenance, but for those who work out hard, it seems more is required. Now, this is another good point. First of all, it seems like this guy just needs higher doses of testosterone. Listen, first of all, lower sex hormone binding globulin means you convert more of your testosterone into its glucuronidated metabolites, and you urinate your testosterone out of your blood, out of your system. So, and you're a hyper metabolizer the lower the SHBG goes. So, you know, while people think you should be doing like daily injections if you have low SHBG, yeah, that would technically maybe help it to get up, could also keep it stagnated. In the end, you just need more fucking testosterone because you're clearing it very quickly. So daily usually doesn't work out in those cases. Higher dose testosterone works out in those cases. But at the same time, the gym workouts, man, I mean, no question, like, even if you skip a day, like you take, to call it 2 days off a week at the gym, but when you go to the gym, you go fucking hard because you're trying to put on muscle mass, you're trying to get a good workout in, and you're trying to progress and hit PRs. Sometimes TRT doses for certain individuals that might hypermetabolize or they just need higher doses aren't enough for that. The most prominent thing that I have seen in like a subset of individuals who will require these higher doses of testosterone, when they get up to, call it 300 milligrams a week, like 150 injected on a Monday and 150 injected on either a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then they just leave it alone for the rest of the week, is people that have been on 150, daily injections once a week, twice a week. 200, same thing. 250, same thing. Gone all the way down to 90 milligrams a week so that estrogen drops and maybe they get erections. Like same shit. They don't have random erections and they have to use a bunch of fucking PDE5 inhibitors for sex. And they're not particularly anabolic, but they're somewhat anabolic, but largely their libido is lacking. They're at a fucking 1,500 tests, but they have no libido and their erections suck. These guys start pinning 300 milligrams a week or 400 milligrams a week. Well, then they have a priapism like erections. You know, those are the ones where they stay and they kind of hurt a little bit. That's how it's supposed to be. That's, you know, if you can remember back to when you were younger, you had fucking boners that hurt a little bit. That's how it's supposed to be. But you know, these guys, like some of them sat in limbo. Oh, I'll take a DHT derivative, or maybe I'll try Aromasin because, you know, fucking Arimidex just doesn't seem to be working for me and it causes side effects or whatever. None of it works. And then a lot of them will just swear TRT off. Truth is, for some of those people, are just going to need higher doses. Okay, you're just going to need higher doses of androgens. This is why I think Test Prop fixes these problems, because, yeah, you peak at 3,000 sometimes. You know, if you're doing like an infreq like every other day or something, 80 milligrams, you're going to peak at 3,000. 3,000. Not going to stay there. You're going to drop back down. But you peak at 3,000. So why would that fix people's erections? Well, I mean, you're getting the DHT specifically that you might need to have erections on testosterone. It's very fucking simple to me, boys. And me, myself, and Ryan Root, I think are the primary sort of people out here advocating for higher doses for the individuals that need it. Not for everybody. Listen, if you can take 150 and you're good, take 150 and be good. Yeah, it's better. Because again, the health management really does has to come into play as you increase your dose of testosterone. You know, your hematocrit starts pushing fucking high and you have symptoms. You got to get it down. You got to go give blood. You got to take some Naringen. Yeah, got to start doing more cardio. Maybe drink half a gallon or more of water a day to get it fucking down. You know, these things are necessary. But in the end, some people need higher doses. Okay. We'll start off with Farmer Rick with a super chat. Thank you, bro. Morning, brother. My wife just started daily 5 milligrams of test cream. Can this be front-loaded like injections to jump levels faster? I wouldn't do this for a couple of reasons. Number one, the answer is yes, it could. But number one, her being a woman, like the conversion to DHT is going to be pretty substantial. You don't want to like overload her with DHT because that's going to kickstart virilization in a way which is like going to deepen her fucking voice and maybe start having her, you know, grow a little bit of a fucking beard or mustache or something. It's just, you know, not something you want to do. I have friends in my life that are women that have used androgens in the past and they're virilized. You know, they're virilized. They didn't take it really, really slow and at low doses just enough to do replacement. If they did, they'd be their same old feminine selves, but they'd be able to put on muscle mass more and their sex drive would be better and all that sort of shit. So I think you wouldn't want to do this because you would risk virilization in this case. Yeah, front loading, it really is only useful if you're switching from, call it prop or cream, something that leaves the system really quickly, to a long ester like testosterone enanthate or testosterone cypionate. In that case, in order to get to your desired blood levels of total test, call it 1,500 or call it 1,200. Well, I mean, you're going to have to inject 150, you know, every other day for like 3 or 4 iterations until you get there, after which you can just start doing daily injections of whatever, or, you know, twice a week injections of whatever to keep you at that 1,200 or 1,500 level. That's where front loading makes sense, so that you don't feel like shit as the prop is leaving your system. Because if you know what I mean, if you don't inject a lot at once in that case and front load, there'll be points at which you're at 500, 600 total tests, and there may be a 2 to 5 to 7 day period where you feel like absolute fucking garbage. So that's where that's useful, not in this case. I think as a woman, you want to just have her starting off at whatever dose doc is prescribing and don't go over that. See if she can even lower it so there's no risk of virilization at all. And don't front load. Only for people switching to long esters, or if you're running a cycle and you want to get up to the level you're going to be at quickly. I've got some LCMS blood on my trough on 150 every third day, which is what I'm running right now. Just out of curiosity to see where that is. I think that's important to get. So we'll see where the fuck that is. Brothers, Steve, good morning. My hematocrit is 51. How many milligrams of Neurogen can I take per day to lower it? As much as your body can tolerate, but not above 700 milligrams a day would be my suggestion. Yeah. If you get the bulksupplements.com bulk Neurogen powder, it's just pure Neurogen powder. It's one of the most purest forms of the compounds in grapefruit that have all manner of benefits, including lowering hematocrit. And start off at a low dose. 100 to 200 milligrams is what I would suggest you start at. Be careful that you're not taking a lot of tadalafil or Cialis because they interact in a way which doubles, triples, or quadruples the concentration of Cialis in your blood, which can lead to hypotension. So dizziness and lightheadedness and shit. It just doesn't feel good. At the same time, the bottom line with Neurogen is that it aggregates your red blood cells, and then through a different physiological process, your body then removes them. Now, if that happens too quickly and your hematocrit drops like 42 because your dose was 700 of Neurogen, then essentially through several mechanisms, you're going to have cerebral hypoperfusion, which means the blood in your brain is going to lessen. You're going to have less blood flow to your brain for a brief period. And that doesn't fucking feel fun either. So just be careful with it. Start at 100 milligrams a day and monitor your blood pressure and monitor how you feel. The moment you start feeling like dizzy or lightheaded or something, just dial it back. But you might not at all feel any of that. And be careful because it's a CYP3-4A or A4 inhibitor. So that means that it will prolong the half-lives of many drugs in your system, including tadalafil. And you should look at what other drugs it does that for because there's a lot of them. Basically anything that enzyme uses to metabolize drugs. Dar Fitness, how does combining tyrosine and caffeine compare to torque? It's very different. Tyrosine and caffeine is like comparable to phenylethylamine P, which like gives you it's just you become hyper alert and your brain's working really fucking quickly. It's kind of like a cracked out feeling. I dose tyrosine, or I have in the past, but at low doses because I don't like that feeling. It's just kind of too much. I just feel, fucking jittery, man. It doesn't really feel good. It doesn't help my brain all that much. So it's not like it's some fucking big benefit. It's not like a major benefit. Torque is just different, right? You're talking about combining Alcar, Mucuna, Teocrine, Theobromine, Citicoline, which has both effects on the cholinergic system, mainly on acetylcholine optimization, but at the same time increasing dopamine and like modifying the A1 and A2 adenosine receptor sites in a way which is comparable to caffeine, but different and better than caffeine. So it's not a cracked out stimulant feeling. It's almost like modafinil. When you take modafinil and like everything just seems like you're functioning better, like everything's just working better. That's what torque feels like. If you ask people, just ask people in the comment section that take torque or get monthly subscriptions to torque. You take it in like within 20 minutes, you're like, oh shit, like I'm a fucking more optimized version of myself. I feel like where previously I didn't feel like working or doing anything, like now I feel like I'm going to work. Steve had a cold this week too. Took 6 milligrams ivermectin. Cold gone. Yeah, I mean, now I'm getting stuffy, so it's definitely something. It's I have this for 2 or 3 days. I have a sore throat. The moment I fucking wake up with a sore throat, I know it's happening. So I feel fine still, but mild headache and stuffy now, and my throat just kind of hurts a little bit. It's such a pain in the ass that fucking viruses are out here, just fucking people's lives up, dude. But yeah, ivermectin is pretty powerful shit, dude. Does work. Dar says, also like the content regarding people who fail to realize what is considered normal. Again, people are walking around with 600 total tests and their doc says it's normal, but their body might need a lot more. Remember, think about the word or the phrase testosterone replacement therapy. Therapy implies that you're like treating something. You're like treating a condition. You're treating your body in a way which is like you're doing it therapeutically. You're trying to improve something over time. And sometimes there's physiological states in which testosterone needs to be given as a therapeutic treatment. It's not just about getting the numbers up. Like androgens have like a lot of powerful benefits over a long period of time. Yeah, there's a big study on like, the onset of effects and the duration of time that it takes for testosterone to actually work its magic, and it's ongoing. And there's one study that's like, what the fuck was it, man? It was either like it was like they followed him for 10 years, and there were positive effects like ongoing at year 10 that they weren't able to reach like at year 5. So, it's not just about getting the numbers up. It's about therapy and treating your body with the hormone that really makes a difference. Is it true that dose should depend on height and weight? No, not at all. Not at all. There's guys that are 150 fucking pounds, don't have a whole lot of muscle mass. In those cases, you would think like 100 milligrams a week would be the best dose for them, and it's not. And some of these people, usually via being androgen deprived for a while. This is the big commonality in the pattern. They were androgen deprived for a while. They need 300 milligrams a week, or slightly more sometimes, and it has nothing to do with their weight. Even guys that are very big, you would think they need more, maybe not. I mean, it depends on how long you were androgen deprived. That's really what I think the factor is here. For some reason, I can't scroll the chat, so I have to keep refreshing it. It does this every now and then. It just breaks. Here we go. Unbroken. Jared Saucedo says, I kept increasing my test prop dose in 10 milligram steps from 30 ultimately to 50, and the good feels typically level out after a few days. How does a guy hang on to the positive uptick in good feels? That's a hard one because, I have to run 50 milligrams of prop a day if I'm running it, because with my gym routine in my life, I get a little tired on 40, which sounds fucking crazy, but it is true. And 50 just does it for me. But this never happens where after a few days it levels out and I start feeling like fucked up or something. Like I feel fine and good on 50 consistently. I think you might want to look at SHBG. If it's a little too low, then you might be clearing that testosterone really, really quickly. People have to remember sex hormone binding globulin kind of acts as a buffer to prevent hyperandrogenism, which is stupid. It's just like sometimes you might need hyperandrogenism to fix problems or to get symptom relief. So, that's one thing that could be happening here. At the same time, for some other reason, you might be metabolizing test prop too quickly. Yeah, people do that too. In which case, like either the longest ester we have in high doses, like cypionate, or even a longer ester like fucking Nebido might do you well. Yeah. The problem with cookie cutter suggestions on TRT, unfortunately, is that, people are going to respond. People do respond so differently to testosterone, and it's mostly in how long they were hypogonadal and how they metabolize testosterone, So that'd be my take on that. Brother. No, I've never used this. Don't know what it is. F Money says, I'm thinking of having better results from fasting. I'm doing a 7-day fast while 200 milligrams test sip. I theorize that will help reverse fibrosis in the penis and resensitize 5-HT2A receptors. Are you a PSSD person? If so, 5-HT2A, 5-HT1A has nothing to do with your condition. Yeah. They might. I think it's 5-HT2B that plays a role in fibrosis, meaning if you agonize them, I believe it's agonizing the 5-HT2B, then you sort of switch on fibrosis. So the 5-HT2A might have a role in the other side of things. I haven't looked into that. But yeah, fasting, I'm not sure why that would be helping you, to be honest. I'm not sure. Who knows, though? Zachary, how are these bodybuilders and fitness influencers able to keep their hair on high androgens? Are they taking finasteride or minoxidil? Curious if they're running into side effects. I think the following. I think that there are certain individuals with such good hair genes that they can blast a bunch of fucking steroids and not have problems. Or their hair will thin and they'll have noticeable changes in the function of the thickness of their hair, but their hair also, because of their genes, grows kind of commensurately with it. So they don't really, you can't really see it. They might be able to see it when their hair is wet in the shower, after the shower. But generally speaking, the hair kind of keeps up with it and they're fine. A lot of the time, though, it just catches up to them. Over time, it just catches up to them. Like, yeah, I mean, one of the most prominent bodybuilders right now that I follow is Chase Irons, and his hair just took a dump, some time ago. I remember watching the process. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. If you want that lifestyle, or if you need high levels of DHT to fix sexual function or whatever, then you might want to consider getting a hair transplant. I follow a gamer, a Warzone gamer named Huskers, for those of you that are into that world. And that dude just got an actual hair transplant. And, he was near, I wouldn't call it Norwood 6, but he was like in a pretty bad place in his hair. And got the hair transplant. He's got a full fucking head of hair now. He looks great. It's like you're taking the androgen resistant hairs, which are on the side, and putting them on the top. And that's helping a lot. But regarding the rest of these guys, I'm sure some of them are taking that. Like I often think about like Sam Sulek and how like at one point he was just full of acne, and now recently goes on stage and wins the amateur Arnold competition, and doesn't seem to have any acne. Probably on Accutane, right? Which might mean it's fucking with his dick. But if he's smart enough, which he is, one of the smartest fucking guys I think I've witnessed on doing bodybuilding, then he's probably compensating for that somehow. He's trying to find the right dose that gets rid of the acne. It doesn't squash the DHT or whatever. So I think some of them are in fact taking stuff to keep their hair. Not a huge expert on GLP plus TRT. Jordan with the $10 super chat. Thank you, brothers. Just bought Torque for the first time. Find cholinergics regardless of how long I wait. Typically do very little anymore, so hopefully Torque will serve those days where you need extra gas on fire. If the cholinergic input for some reason is just taxed and you're not getting a response from choline modifying stuff, which can happen if you're taking a lot of nootropics. It's happened to me. I had to cycle off for months sometimes. Then Torque does different things too. It's the teacrine, the theobromine, and the mucuna that have a whole set of different effects. So if like one element of the stack fails, there's another element of the stack that will carry the rest of the experience. Yeah. There's really nothing like this on the market. It's just because it's put together in the right dose concentration so that you don't fucking get side effects and you feel amazing. It onsets very fucking quickly. It's just a good synergy. It's 5 compounds. There's one stack back in the day called Siltep, which is now called something else, which for a subset of individuals hit really well. And it was like, it wasn't dosed very high, the compounds in it, but they had this synergy with forskolin and artichoke extract, which scientifically made sense and did turn on brain function. It's about the synergy of compounds that are doing specific shit that when they work together, your brain kind of has a profound optimization response from it. That's what Torque does. So it might not be the cholinergic. It's only a low dose of citicoline in there, just enough to not have side effects if you take it consistently. And then there's a modest dose of Alcar in there, right? Again, taking too much Alcar could give you anxiety as well and could give you problems. So you just want to, do it. Dose it modestly. See how you fare. I think you're going to love the fucking stack, And if once part of the stack is failing for your brain, the other part will pick up. It should, at least. Don't know about that compound, so I couldn't help you. Brother, F money. I think PSSD is both a hormone and a receptor issue because high dose SRI causes muscle tissue damage. So I'm assuming lower regular doses damage the tissue in the penis. What we know is that the inhibition of DHT, which very plausibly happens when you take SSRIs, we know it happens when you take finasteride, causes you to siphon your testosterone into estradiol instead of DHT, which will cause fat accumulation of adipocytes, or basically fucking fat cells in your penis, which replace the smooth muscle. The smooth muscle is what you need to have erections. That's part of the physiology that allows you to have erections to function those smooth muscle cells. If those smooth muscle cells are getting replaced with fat cells, you're going to have ED and you're going to eventually have fibrosis because you don't have nocturnal erections. So yes, SSRIs could cause penis tissue damage, but it's not caused by the SSRI itself. It's caused by androgen deprivation and potentially overexposure to estradiol. Yeah, overexposure to estradiol. If people are curious about this, this is how I know that the pro estrogen, let estrogen go to fucking oblivion, you never have to manage it groups are 100% wrong. Because if you, and I got clients where we have to use estrogen very little bit amounts of it, either because they can't tolerate their own aromatization, they got to go on a non-aromatizable androgen plus estradiol, or for whatever reason. But too much of it, and the ED is fucking it's catastrophic. Too much of that estradiol, and it's absolutely catastrophic. And the literature is very, very clear on this. So yeah, if any of those folks, the pro-estrogen groups, want to prove their theory, just go get some estradiol valerate and dose like 1 milligram to 3 milligrams, every day or every other day, and watch your dick fall off your body. Like, it's just going to, you're going to have ED within fucking days, maybe fucking hours. You're wrong. Stop perpetuating bullshit, please. Okay, it's the community that I talk to and that come to me with all these manner of fucking problems because they just let their estrogen go. Doesn't mean some people can't tolerate higher levels of estrogen. You definitely need the androgens, though. You need the high levels of androgens. Jared, torque is awesome. I take the 1 cap at 12 p.m. and I'm awake and alert through the afternoon. Hey, if one does it, stick with one. Absolutely. Fuck, man. Looking for euphoria. We don't tell people how to get to euphoric states here. Go on a fucking run. You'll be euphoric then. Steve, I have Pregnal at 10,000 IU vial. Yeah, I hope that didn't cost you $280. Oh, source list, boys. Source list. 2 words. 3 words. Source list. I want to know if I should use 2 mil of backwater or 4. Making the HCG stay effective longer. I don't know that the amount of backwater is going to make a difference in how long the HCG lasts. I don't really think so. Yeah, I don't think it's going to make a difference. What I found is that after 4 weeks max, after 4 weeks, it's just not good anymore. And usually between like week 2.5 and week 4, the HCG starts to go bad. I can tell right away. So it's just something to consider, man. I usually do 5,000 IU. There's a source on Sourceless where you can get 10 5,000 IU vials of HCG for cheaper than what the clinics charge for 1 10,000 IU vial. Think about that. That's why Sourceless is fucking going to save you money right away. You'll make your money back by buying it the moment you buy something on it. What led you to hopping on TRT? I watched a prior video where you mentioned 700 plus. Yeah, it's a big fucking difference though, being, well, I mean, now I'm about probably 2,500 or something, or 2,000. I got to get my trough levels back. The LCMS takes fucking 13 days. By the way, aren't we advanced enough now to where we can get blood tests back soon? Fucking fuck you, Quest. Yeah, look, it feels much... a couple of reasons. It feels much different to be even at 1,000, but pretty consistently with a little bit of a trough than it does natural 700. Yeah. Going down to about 550 once I ran a very low dose of testosterone cypionate, then I felt like I was back to natural, and I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't realize how much I pretty much felt like dog shit. Like I felt good and relied on nootropics for a while, even with pretty high tests. Now, there was a point I got my testosterone to 900 with 23 supplements at the time. I'm talking about fucking pine pollen and God, what's that stuff called? Fedosia, L-carnitine, L-tartrate. Dude, I had a whole list of stuff I was taking. It took me years to put that list together, but it worked. But is that good for my liver? Like, those are the kinds of things that, along with interest, because I had been, an expert on the neuropharmacology of nootropics. A lot of people had come to me with sexual dysfunction thinking it was a neuroscience thing, and I had to explore that route. And then quickly found out it's all hormones. It's all hormones. So I had to get into hormones way before I started talking about them on YouTube. Yeah, I'd been doing hormone consulting for men for fucking years before I started talking about this on YouTube. So I knew a lot about it all. And then there just eventually became a point where my testosterone couldn't sustain. It started dropping on the supplement regimen that took my testosterone levels up. So at that point, it was a no-brainer for me. I wish I had gotten on earlier. I had to go through this process of being hypogonadal at 31, getting turned down for TRT or having it not suggested, me looking into it and then deciding not to do it like an idiot, and then trying to work up naturally, which I did. But I wish at that point I just got on TRT. Jordan, I remember taking Provigil or Armodafinil when I was 18 and thought it was weird feeling energy versus amphetamine types. Would standard modafinil be any better? Yeah, Armodafinil is fucking substantially more potent than regular modafinil. It's also about the dose. I mean, if you just, I dose 75 milligrams of that stuff. If I take it these days, a lot less than ever before. And that's good enough, you know. But yes, regular modafinil is not as potent as Armodafinil. And that's a good thing. You know, I don't think you want it to be that crazy. Yeah, my chick takes modafinil every now and then, a girl that I'm dating. And yeah, too much. I don't even think she's taking fucking high doses. Too much, and she just feels like, you know, like cracked out kind of thing. You know, you don't want that feeling. Orlando, hey Ryan, do you still use DHT? Nope, I haven't used Andractim for a while. I basically proved that it did what I needed it to do. Like I proved that it's effective for increasing erectile quality for me personally. A bunch of other things, seminal vesicle function. My ejaculate volume was like, it was a little more runny, but there was a lot of it. There was a lot of ejaculate volume when rubbing it, especially on the perineum. It's fucking insane. I actually have probably about 3/4 of a tab of Andractim left. I am considering making like a very high concentration DHT gel for myself because I got some clients that use such a thing, and I got one client now that's using it and is having just the kind of results this guy's getting are unbelievable. We're talking about a guy who's had sexual dysfunction for years and years and years, and now is getting spontaneous erections. Something to think about. But I just don't need it. You know, I don't need it at this point, so why waste it? I'll keep it around for a rainy day, and I'm probably going to make make a gel out of it. This is a good question. Can nattokinase lower hematocrit? The literature says inconclusive. Like there is no. I looked at this, and I don't. I think it largely thins your blood, so it might not lower hematocrit, but it likely negates the consequences of high hematocrit, while high hematocrit might still be high via, breaking down microclots and the potential for clotting, via fibrinogen or whatever it fucking ends up improving. So that's the answer. I don't think it directly lowers it. Naringin, on the other hand, directly lowers hematocrit. Yeah, it aggregates, it causes your red blood cells to aggregate, and then your body clears those those aggregated red blood cells. They kind of clump together, and your body goes, "Oh, we're going to get rid of these." And then as a result, like 3 to 7 days, the hematocrit's actually going to lower. The onset of time that the red blood cells aggregate is between 1 and 3 hours after ingestion. Works pretty quickly. And then, your body will start shuttling those red blood cells out, and the hemoglobin and the crit will go down. Steve is on 20 milligrams of daily prop. Feel good. I have cream and gel from Defy coming, and I'm wondering how to incorporate in my current regimen of 1 click AM. Or example, 1 click AM, 20 milligrams, one prop, 1 click PM, or cream only. I think you might have asked this last week. If you feel good, I wouldn't use cream. Yeah. Because you might just come fuck things up. You might fuck things up. So always remember the golden rule with TRT is that if you're dialed in, don't change the goddamn thing. Because sometimes it takes a while to dial back in after you change your protocol. Like me being on 300 milligrams a week now, it's taking some time to dial in libido and erections. They're fine, but they took a hit. So I'm trying to figure that out. I don't necessarily know if it's estrogen that needs to drop, but it probably is. I'm sure the SHBG is taking a little bit of a hit, so I've got to see if I can compensate for that. But, every time you change something, it might take, 2 to 6 or let's call it 2 to 8 weeks to be safe for you to dial back in, specifically around sexual function and stuff. So tread lightly here, my friend. But if I were to add this to 20 milligrams of prop, then yeah, I would do the lowest dose possible if I were you. And I would try to keep it as consistent as I could with blood levels. So a click in the morning and a click at night would be fine. Oh, I can barely breathe, boys. I have something. I feel fine, but I have like congestion and my fucking throat hurts. F money. I think SSRIs and other medications are stored in the fat. I don't know. I don't know if there's any proof for this. Siltep got the job back in the day. Yeah, that was the whole basis of the mechanism, this whole camp mechanism. Oleg, if I was androgen deprived for a long time, could that be why nootropics barely work? Only thing that ever worked was modafinil. Racetams don't work. Well, there's a whole bunch of different dynamics when thinking about like, pharmacokinetics and how you metabolize nootropics. Yeah, which liver enzymes metabolize them, et cetera. It's like, you might be clearing the nootropics very quickly. Your brain might be one of those brains that like, the moment you start increasing acetylcholine, you start upregulating cholinesterase, which means you then clear acetylcholine quickly from the brain, so you get like no effect from nootropics. That happens to people as well. I think that no, I don't see a correlation between androgen deprivation and a lack of response to nootropics, though. I don't see that. Yeah, can't see that happening. Zachary, do you ever recommend high dose cream protocols? Sure, but keep in mind, the higher you go on cream, the more DHT you're going to have, the more that's going to antagonize estradiol, and the more, because DHT in conjunction with testosterone, like a testosterone protocol, is going to shut you down further, right? It's just more DHT really does seem to be in the presence of test and estradiol. Further shuts down the testicles. You go on high dose cream and you're going to, those testicles are going to shrink really fucking quickly. Yeah, really quickly. That's all. So just be prepared with more HCG if that's the case. That's all. How would high dose cream hold up against high dose prop? I would do high dose prop over cream for this reason. Prop will leave the system faster. Cream will stick around longer. Yeah, it's not like a long ester or something, but it sticks around longer. It is more steady state. Whereas prop literally just, you can't even control its drop. It'll go like this, and the moment it does, it goes like that. Cream goes like this pretty quickly, but then it kind of goes like that. Like it just slowly kind of leaves the system. So if you could stay away from high dose cream, I would. But if you do it, keep in mind you're going to have to take more HCG. Dr. Phil is in the house. Hi, brother. Hematocrit is 54 on 500 test. Yeah, that sounds about right. Any advice on how to lower? I'm on Orinja, but it doesn't seem to work. What's your dose of Narinjan, man? You got to be a little more clear than that. What is your dose of Narinjan? What is your frequency of Narinjan? Yeah, that's what I would want to look at, because you get that to 700 a day, your fucking hematocrit is going to lower. It is going to lower. You can't stop Narinjan from aggregating your red blood cells and then your body clearing those red blood cells out. You can't stop that process. Narinjan works, but you might, you're on a 0.5 gram a test. So are you having symptoms, by the way? And not that you should stay at 54. I'm just curious if you're having symptoms. My present vial costs $280. I think this is of Pregnal. Yeah, Pregnal. That's robbery. Just buy the source list. Guys that are spending too much money on Pregnal or HCG in general or test anything, buy the source list. You'll thank me later. Yeah, you'll thank me later. I seem to get insomnia from fish oil. Can't quite pinpoint. Have any people heard of this issue? No. If anything, your heart rate is increasing via drop in blood pressure, via thinning of the blood. That'd be the only mechanism by which this happens. Otherwise, it's something else. Dr. Phil, what would be better for high libido? 500 test, 70-50 IU of HCG, or 250 test? The answer is I don't know. And no one knows except you, right? Usually the higher people go on testosterone, the better everything gets, unless you're one of those people that just cannot fucking tolerate high estrogen, Yeah, if you can't tolerate it and your dick starts going limp because of high estrogen, then yeah, it's not going to be particularly good for you. But generally speaking, like, the guys that have to lower their dose into oblivion to get their erections back, some of those people, maybe they just need to do that because they're just sensitive to high estrogen. But I think they just end up in an ideal ratio there, where then they have erections back, but they're not really anabolic and their energy suffers a bit. Whereas those guys could go to 350, 400 and their erections would probably come back. And better, like full force. Yeah, for fucking sure. So long as their estrogen was in the right place. Like the one thing about me just bumping up my dose from 3 pumps of cream to like a mild cycle of 300 a week, doing 150 every 3.5 days, is that my libido changed a little bit, but the erections are forceful. They're like forceful. They're still a little trying to dial that in, and they're not consistent, but when they are, they're fucking forceful. So for you, I don't know. You got to figure out if you're one of those guys that can tolerate higher tests and your libido gets better as you scale up, and erections get better as you scale up. Typically, that's the case. Or if because you're sensitive to high hormones, you need to be at lower doses, but still higher doses. Steve had DHT at 455. I assume that's nanograms per deciliter. Was using DHT gel, Proviron, Masteron, and Primo, but not feeling prosexual side effects. Well, okay, you have total T, you have E2 at 40. That's not bad. Maybe the E2 should be higher. Listen, man, you people, you got to understand that DHT is antagonistic at the genetic level, at the receptor level to estradiol. So if you take a lot of DHT, man, and especially if you're taking a lot of fucking DHT derivatives that inhibit estradiol or aromatase, which Masteron and Primo and Proviron do, you're going to be antagonizing the shit out of like the receptor side and the genetic side of estradiol. So even though you have 40, your body probably feels like you have 10, which would give me a loss of libido, and it would give me ED. That's why this is happening, bro. You got to scale this stuff proportionally, man. I don't know if I would be taking that much or DHT stuff to have DHT at 450 fucking 5. I wouldn't be doing that. And if I did, I'd probably have to supplement with estrogen so that I could offset the negative consequences on sexual function that killing estradiol has. Yeah. Dylan just started Cypionate with compounded creams. You're on 200 a sip. 200 milligrams, 20% of cream, and you're on Cypionate every 4th day, 80 milligrams, and 4 clicks of cream every day, it looks like. Thoughts on dose, timing of the cream for best EQ results and bringing nocturnals back. E2 is 25. So you're not having nocturnals right now? The first thing that I would do in your case is I would remove that cream and take that Cypionate dose to like 250 a week, inject either all of it at once or do one day where it's 125 and the next day where it's 125 and then do nothing for the next 5-6 days and see if that peak in, androgens that are somewhat steady state for a little bit gives you erections for like 3 or 4 days in libido. Then you just need higher doses of testosterone. And you need a more steadier state of that, but higher doses at a time. Don't inject daily. Get your steadier state by injecting boluses at once. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, if you're on Cypionate 80 every 4th day and 4 clicks of cream seemingly every day, or is it every 4th day? And that's not doing it. Do one or the other and dial that in, and then consider making it hybrid if you want to further optimize it, but do it carefully and stepwise. And the moment shit gets fucked up, go back to what works. That's the way you deal with that. Brother, Steve is on 20 milligrams of Prop daily. Feel good, but we have Defy Cream Gel combo coming and wonder how to incorporate my... I just answered that question above, dude. Didn't we? Yeah. If you're, I already answered that question. I don't know why you're asking it again. MJ, 120 milligrams Test C, 60 Primo, 40 Deca every 5 days. So this is what you're doing every 5 days. Just switch from everyday injections. Best time to do hormone test after injections. Well, I mean, if the Primobolan is Primobolan NF8, that's like a 4-day, 5-day half-life. You want to test on trough. That's basically the bottom line. If you're doing this every 5 days, test all of this on either day 5, like just before you inject everything, or day 4 at like noon or 5 p.m., noon to 5 p.m. or something. That's what I would suggest you do in this case. You want to see where, if you're someone who likes the data like I am, then and test everything at the peak, which would be like day two, and then test at the trough as well. So you can see, man. Ramiel, if you have a prescription for this TRT, bring it. That's all. Bring it, brother. But like, yeah, for me, I'm using UGL at the moment, running this sports TRT is what I'll really call it, dose. So, that's not prescribed. So like if I go to Florida, which I'm itching to do, then it's a hard one. What I would probably do is like inject 400 milligrams of testosterone in it before I go. And I think I'd be good to go. But for you, if you have prescription, just bring it. This is a good question, Mr. M. If your estrogens crash and you take estradiol valerate, will it help immediately? The answer is yes. Yep, immediately. Yeah, immediately. It's good to have this stuff on hand, boys. That's also in the source list. It's good to have estrogen on hand in case you crash your shit, man. If you take too much of an AI or something, yeah, especially if you dose a lot of Masteron and then, your dick goes south and you've got a date or your girl's coming over later and, you need your fucking dick back, then just a little bit of that estradiol will bring it back, and it happens fucking immediately. Yep. Pretty quickly. The whole idea of like estradiol being intracrine and that the tissues decide how much they need. Well, yeah, sure. But you could still dose exogenous estradiol and the tissues are going to deal with it. Remember, in women, they don't aromatize a whole lot. Their ovaries make estradiol. So still just estradiol in the pool, the serum, the body still decides what to do with it. Thank you, brother. Phil's on 500 in Oringen. All right. Zachary with the super chat. Thank you, bro. Good amount of HCG per day, or do you recommend 3 pumps of cream or week with 3 pumps of cream daily? Well, 3 pumps shouldn't really shut you down all that much. 3 pumps is pretty good. Like pretty good dose of a 200 milligram per milliliter, 20% topically cream, whatever base. So you'd probably need like the standard 250 every other day on that. Yeah. Now, if you move that to 6 pumps a day, you need like 500 every day or 500 every other day. Prevent that serious shutdown, in which case maybe no changes will happen with sexual function, but your balls would start to hurt because they're really atrophying. Am I seeing any changes in my hair? Not yet. Yeah, it's only sports TRT. Again, remember I went on 560 a week, and I did see my hair start to thin toward the latter end of that, but then it just came back as I got off of the cycle, and I went on cream for just 3 pumps of cream for almost 6 months, like 5 months. I think I ended the cycle in August or September or something. And then I just jumped back on now after looking at my bloods. That's really what prompted it. I didn't even plan to go back on. And again, it's just sports TRT. And I metabolize tests a little quicker and eat higher doses than more people. So for me, 300 is kind of like 200 for everybody else or for people that metabolize it normally. But I looked at my bloods and they were fucking phenomenal. my HDL had gone up. Like, I'm doing shit, dude. I'm taking a bunch of tacotrinos and I dose Naringen as well. And I'm back to running because it's been nicer out and everything. And my LDL was 84, HDL was 48. And ApoB went back down range. I'm like, let's add more testosterone. My bloods look good. Can you stay on 500 a week for life? Well, maybe. But health management will always come into play above 300, 350. Yeah, but let's call it 300. It's almost always going to come into play. Hematocrit, blood pressure, lipids. Yeah. I wouldn't worry about LVH unless you get into the 10 gram, fucking many grams of testosterone, in which case, maybe. But I would say only dose 500 milligrams of test a week if you need it, Now, look, I know people. So one of my doctors, I keep at this point 3 MDs. One's an endocrinologist and 2 are just medical doctors. Usually it's for prescribing weird things that I might want to fuck with or try. But a lot of the time I just pick their brains. Despite what I might know about physiology and stuff, it is useful to have a doctor who has seen 10,000 people over 20 years in your corner. We don't want to completely disparage doctors because there's some of them are really fucking good. And he's on pellets, and this guy's testosterone goes to about 2,800, and then it just stays there for a while. A60 at this point. Looks great. Feels great. Yeah, old guy at 3,000 total tests most of the duration. Then it starts dropping toward the latter end, then he gets reimplanted with pellets. Feels great. He's banging his 63-year-old wife every day. It's like life is great. So, I know other people too who have been using high doses of androgens for a while, and in their 60s, You know what they are compared to other 60-year-olds? Stronger, faster, smarter, more alert, less weak looking than all their counterparts or 65-year-old counterparts. So something to consider. But again, you're always going to have to, execute health management. Most people are, at least, when you go above 300 a week. Steve, thank you for the super chat, brother. Ryan, you were a godsend. Have you changed my life and nothing else? You're entertaining. Yes, that's what we try to do. That's why I'm happy that, when I got this new mic, it came with like a program that sort of manages the audio, and I can do reverb now. Reverb. I'll just fuck with that forever if you guys don't stop me, or if I don't stop myself. Thank you for the super chat, brother. I'm glad, though. I'm glad. Mr. M, thank you, Ryan, for your answer. I'm going to pop a milligram of E2 Valerate for immediate relief. Crash E2 trip to Zombieland. Yeah, it sucks to be that way. Yeah, if I were you, I'd go 0.5 milligrams. 0.5. Yeah. What you should do is ask ChatGPT an approximation of ask it to approximate, and ask it to also draw you a graph or create a table of, 0.5 milligrams versus 1 milligrams versus 1.5 milligrams versus 2 milligrams dosed of estradiol valerate, and what it thinks it will increase the estradiol in picograms per milliliter and how soon that will take. So then it'll give you a table. 0.5 will increase it 30 picograms per milliliter in 36 hours. 1 milligram will increase it 50 picograms per milliliter in 24 to 72 hours. You want to have those answers before you dose E2. Did we? I think audio is good. I don't know why we're losing audio. Anyone else audio lost here? I think no, it's fine. It's fine. Dr. Phil, would I rather go on higher dose test and use an AI or use a lower dose? Neither. Ultimately, if it worked for me, I would probably rather see. I don't know. I like higher dose tests because I love the way that I feel on higher doses of testosterone. Comes with acne and other problems, mainly that. The necessity to manage hematocrit, usually. That's essentially all the problems. And it might mess with my lipids personally if I'm there consistently, but I don't usually need a lot of AI. Like on Cycle last time, it was like just minute doses of aromasin infrequently and not even on a schedule. Just dose it, let it go for a couple of weeks. Things were fine. And that was it. So far, I haven't needed to take an AI, but there's inconsistency in sexual function. When it's good, it's fucking insane. And then other times it's just kind of a little meh. So that'll maybe balance out, or I'll have to modify it. I'm actually trying to procrastinate on that. So we'll see what happens. Brother. Wait, am I? Yeah, mute lock. There we go. Sweet. But ultimately, I mean, if I had the choice of higher dose, versus lower dose, it's always going to be higher dose test for me. I personally can't get away with a lower dose, not no AI thing, Yeah, I just, can't get away with it because I feel like shit on lower doses. I just do not feel good. What source can you get E2 Valerate? It's on source lists. Yeah, we can't. Yeah, it is there. You just have to look on injectables on PPL, domestic injectables. Dream big. How long do I have to wait to retest testosterone levels from switching from test C to E? Well, half-lives aren't that different, but they are very different. These are different drugs, People tell you they're interchangeable. They're not. Try doing if you're injecting once a week of Cypionate and then you switch to Anathate, same dose, go ahead and try it. At day 5, you're going to feel pretty fucking tired because that Anathate leaves your system quicker. They're not the same thing. God, I got to correct all the fucking TRT norms out here. All the repeated bullshit. They're not the same, but they're pretty similar. And that, for sure after day 3, you start to trough on Anathate. It might trough quicker too, a little quicker, peaks a little faster as well. I would give it 4 weeks. Yeah, give it 4 weeks. You'll be at pretty, 5 to be safe. You'll be at pretty steady state on the new, on ester at that point. How long for master on Anathate to kick in? 24 to 72 hours. Big Zach is having to switch to a test blend because I absorb prop quick. So I need a longer ester as well. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, that sounds plausible to me. People do that. People do absorb and metabolize testosterone quickly, whether it's prop or whatever. But especially prop, people can absolutely be in that case. And then you'll take it and you'll have a window in the day where erections and shit are good. And then later they start to suffer because it's just troughing out of your system. And you need, higher levels kind of consistently. A trough would be good for you, but you still need to have a threshold of high numbers, to keep the erections and stuff going well. Brother. Chris G, I'm currently on 100 milligrams of test prop every other day. Good dose. Yeah, I bet you're peaking real high. I take 250 IU of HCG, 50 IUs of FSH every other day. Do you think the FSH is that helpful? I think you need to test taking just prop and HCG without FSH and then bring the FSH in and see how big of a difference it's making. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot of experience with recombinant follicle stimulating hormones, so I wouldn't be able to tell you either way if it's super consequential. Almost definitely it is enhancing like sperm motility and, fertility markers, probably, but not an expert in that stuff. Don't really know how to answer that or if it's a question. Dr. Phil, I've seen some studies saying that long-term use of AI can give you an aneurysm. We need to read those studies. Yeah. I don't have thoughts on a real scientific topic like that. I don't have thoughts on it unless I can digest that paper, because your interpretation of it might be wrong. Whoever's interpretation you found that for, if you didn't read the whole study, did you read the whole study? Bet it's a long study. Did you read the whole thing? Did you understand everything? Did you try to scrutinize the study design to see if they had some inaccuracies? Were there limitations that the authors admitted on the study? That happens a lot. You got to analyze that shit. But my general take on this is that inhibiting aromatase can have consequences like this, or can have consequences. Whether or not it can give you an aneurysm is unknown, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. That's why you want to try to avoid taking them. If you can. Ori, my doctor is not allowing me on testosterone because I don't need. Yeah, maybe watch my last video. Get the source list, taking matters in your own hands. Some people that's one of the reasons. That's the course of action to take if you're one of those people that is suffering from, the affliction that I just described in my last piece of content, which was you're at 400 to 600 total tests. Doc says you're normal, but you feel like shit. You're anxious, you're depressed, you're not assertive, you're not masculine, you can't build muscle, your dick doesn't work, or it does, but you have all these other fucking problems. You probably need to be on testosterone. And the only way to deal with that in the current state of the medical establishment is to circumvent them. Yep. It's to go around them, unfortunately, right? You're going to have to be your own advocate, sometimes. Sometimes you have to, it sounds very basic, but yeah, boys, sometimes you have to be your own advocate. You got to be your own doctor, if you will, and go and treat yourself. Just get source lists. For those of you, I don't think there's many of you, but if there are some, just get source lists. Learn from this channel and Vigorous Steve's channel and Ryan Root's channel. I'm sure I'm missing some channels here. Learn as much as you can from Reddit, but make sure you get my take on what those people are saying as well, because a lot of the stuff they're saying is not right. But mostly look for people's anecdotals, because therein you're going to find some interesting shit. And then take it upon yourself to do what you need to do. No, testosterone doesn't make you bald. No. Yeah, if you got terrible hair genes and you're on high doses, you'll start losing hair. Most people really don't lose a lot of hair. Yeah, most people don't if they're on modest doses. Assuming modest doses will do the trick for you, brother. Boys, right now and for the last 2 weeks, all three products, Torque, so our nootropic stack that I've built, coaching, every coaching package, and the source list are 20% off. Now, if you're buying a 3-month coaching package, that's going to save you a lot of money. Yeah. If you're buying source list, it's saving you a lot of money. if you're booking me for 6 months to work on some sexual dysfunction thing or a long-term package, that's going to save you a lot of money. Okay. Right now it's 20% off. The code is down in the description. It applies to all the coaching programs. It applies to Torque and it applies to source lists. Okay. The reason we're doing that is because historically February, March are the slowest months. So shit's on sale right now because these are the slowest months for e-commerce business. Good morning, Ryan and brothers. What are my thoughts on Proviron oil instead of oral? I just honestly stick with oral. Yeah, all these new iterations of Proviron, it's just, you don't know what you're getting, frankly. But when you have a 25 milligram pill of Mysterolone, you do know what you're getting. You do know what you're getting. Thoughts on Trenbolone? The only reason that I don't think so. I don't want the progesterogenic or whatever mechanism induced prolactin increase. Prolactin just kills my dick instantly, so I don't want that. I would rather not have to take a dopamine agonist to deal with it. The only use case like I see is if eventually I just get tired of having to manipulate estrogen and shit, then just a non-aromatizable androgen like Trenbolone with a little bit of estradiol. But I don't need to do that, so I don't think I would do that. Yeah, it's just really not something that I'm interested in doing. Plus, like the psychological stuff, like I already like, yeah, I hold my shit together, bro. But I mean, how do I say this like without making myself like a fucking lunatic? I don't want to do anything that really like makes me crazier than I already fucking am. Basically. And trend can cause you to have all kinds of weird impulses and stuff, and it's just not something I want to fuck with, at least right now. Not right now, and I don't have a reason to do it either. Do I agree with Dave Lee? The HRT based cream is that much better than the other bases? The answer is I don't know. The answer is I don't know. Dave and those guys, his buddy Keith, they seem to be so have a lot of experience with, like, clinical experience on Keith's side and probably coaching experience on Dave's side with men on cream. And it's probably more than I have. Now, look, I have clients on cream, but these guys, they talk about it a lot, I think really it's one of their main specialties. So I don't know the answer, I think if Dave says it, he's probably not just making it up. There's probably something to it. Can you fast for anti-aging? To a degree. You're not going to just necessarily become less young or prevent aging when you fast by doing it, These things aren't panaceas, if that's the right word. Is it true that Tren is the best for libido? I don't know the answer to that question either. For some people, it's going to tank completely via being prolactogenic. For others, they're going to have all kinds of weird sexual impulses, like they're going to be watching, I don't think I could fucking say it, but they'll be watching, porn of people that were born one thing and now are another thing, and they're, having intercourse with a man. Like, they're gonna be watching all kinds of weird shit. That's the kind of shit that happens. The thyroid supplement I take is called Evolved Elements. You can find it on Amazon. Yeah. I've suggested it so much that you guys are making it out of stock. This girl I'm dating is using it too, and it fucking helps her. And recently she couldn't get it because of you guys probably buying it on Amazon. Sorry, Jill. Waldo, what is a good way to reduce iron, hematocrit, and RBC other than donating blood? Take Naringin. Chris G, appreciative of the source list. Everyone should look at it as an investment in themselves and less of a cost. Yeah. Again, quantifiably, you'll make your money back on the first purchase of it, because like simple things like, okay, so if you just needed to get some, if you needed to get 3 vials of testosterone cypionate to last you for the next, 6 months or something, and you consider how much you pay your clinic for that, and then you go on like one of the trusted sources on SourceList, and it's like $20 a vial or something. Like, it's just like some substantially fucking cheap thing. And you pay $60 or $80 or whatever it ends up being for 6 months worth of testosterone, but you're paying your clinic like $200 every 2 months, or each time you order, it's a substantial amount of money. And you're like, what am I even doing going to these people, especially HCG. There's a number of reasons that sourceless is good. Number one, there's shit that you can get that is not prescribable. You can't get it prescribed by your doc, and what if you need it? Plenty of people do need DHT itself. Secondly, though, about saving money, and availability of products. Estradiol Valerate's on there. Tren, anything you can think of. Anything you can think of. But at the same time, saving money. There's a 10 vial HCG package, and it's you get 5,000 IU per vial, and it's cheaper than what you would pay for one vial of 10K IU from a clinic. It's just like no brainer. Zachary, I would never take finasteride, but how people ask this question, and I assume you've never heard me talk about the systemic nature of minoxidil, but minoxidil could go systemic as well and cause PFS. I have actual fucking PFS clients that took minoxidil. So people, okay, I know this won't be the last time I say this, but for hopefully the last time, it doesn't have to be finasteride for it to fucking cause PFS. Guys, it doesn't have to be just finasteride. Okay? Saw palmetto can cause PFS, boys. Topical anti-androgens can cause sexual dysfunction. It goes systemic. It does. I've proven it. Yeah, I mean, it's just a broken record at this point. But you guys should know that, minoxidil is not fucking safe, dude. It's not fucking safe. You've heard me do whole documentaries if you haven't watched the PFS documentary about finasteride. You think the same industry, the hair loss industry, like somehow made something that's not going to give you fucking erectile dysfunction? They haven't. None of them have, dude. None of them have. Copper, as itself, as a fucking element, inhibits 5-alpha reductase, dude. It does. Okay? Be careful. RU58841. It's a topical anti-androgen, is it not? Anti-androgen. Need I say more? Anti-androgen. Think about that. It's an anti-androgen. Don't take it. Chris, can you remind me again your best recommendations for getting LDLs up? See, I don't know how this happened. Look, I went off cycle and I went on 3 pumps of cream. I take 400 milligrams of tocotrienols a day. I take 220 milligrams of naringin every other day. I take 5 milligrams tadalafil a day. I run a B complex every day. I run 2 capsules of bovine desiccated thyroid every day. I run 6,000 IU vitamin D every day. What else is down there? Am I missing something? I run about 500 milligrams of Todka every day. And in the spring and summer, I run every other day or every third day, and I go to the gym every day with the occasional day off. Just those things. My HDL went from 44, which is still fine, to 48. You don't often see HDL moving up. Some people have been taking steroids for a while. They can't get it to go up. My HDL went up. I'll show you the bloods to prove it sometime. If you guys are really curious, maybe I'll do a whole breakdown on that. 44, it's now 48. LDL's down to 84 from 110, and then I think at its worst in the middle of the cycle, it was like 120 or something. It's down to 84. So yeah, those things are what I personally did. I did increase hydration, but I did increase all the rest of that other stuff, take all that other stuff. Camilo, what is the lowest starting dose you give your clients? Well, nobody really comes to me brand new to TRT. Newbie planning to start with 75 milligrams twice a week. That's a good dose. Yeah, that's a good dose. But what I would do if I were you is, this is what I would do if I were you. I would take 120 milligrams, 120, and I wouldn't split it up 2 times a week because testosterone cypionate is not meant to be injected that way. I don't know who told you that. Testosterone enanthate maybe because of the half-life. Testosterone cypionate is not. And I would inject 120 a week. And if you get tired toward the latter end of that, then just do 120 every fifth day. That's what I would do if I were you. Now, if even on 120 every fifth day, you're still tired toward the latter end, you just need a higher dose, bump that up to 150 every fifth day. But don't do 2 times a week with cypionate. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If you have side effects initially from this high dose, well, people have side effects from TRT initially all the time and they go away. Or you've got to start managing your health. and those side effects will go away. But 75 2 times a week with cypionate doesn't make sense. You got to, if you want to inject it more frequently, gap it out. 70 every 4th day. Not every 3.5, every 5th day maybe. And then, but again, 120 every once a week, and then go to 150 if you feel tired toward the latter end of that. Ori, I am not sure what you're saying here, dude. Camilo takes dutasteride and not have sexual problems. Yeah, this happens for people too. Again, not everybody has PFS from 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, It's just the bottom line. Some people are resistant to the lowering of DHT, but mostly their DHT doesn't get bottomed out. So they still have enough DHT. Yep. Here's a different one, though. Playing devil's advocate, I took finasteride topical, and it messed me up. Yeah, I have full-blown PFS. People with that just took Rogaine, minoxidil. Full-blown PFS. Full-blown. So, minoxidil spray is anti-androgen. Anything that's an anti-androgen is not good. Not good. I've already answered this. Dude, is this the same question? Brother, Narinjan, do cardio. Is testosterone cream still only available via prescription? Yes, it's not on a source list. No one makes it. The best thing you can do if you want it, and you're not willing to get a prescription, I mean, all the clinics will give it to you. Mail Excel, Defy Medical, etc. Probably fucking Merrick. But I recently heard they don't manage estrogen, so I'm not sure going with Merrick's a good idea. Because some people need that. Get sourceless, get testosterone itself, get yourself some aloe vera and some DMSO, and ask ChatGPT how to make a cream out of it. Maybe instead of aloe vera, get like some base lotion or some base cream that you can use, and just make your own cream. You can make your own cream. Yeah, that's what I would do if I were you. If you really need to get it. Otherwise, there is transdermal testosterone on the source list, but it's gel. It's gel. So it's not the same thing. Otherwise, they'll just get a clinic. Get a clinic and have them send it to your doorstep. Have them send it to your front doorstep. Brother. All right, boys, I'm going to end the stream. I got to go take a fucking Hall's lozenge. My throat feels like I just stuck a bunch of fucking lava in there. 20% discounts on everything, including the Torque Stack, including coaching, including the source list. The code is down in the description of this video. Appreciate you guys being with you. I love the fucking questions. I love hanging out with you guys on Saturday. Content coming this week, so look forward to that. So probably Monday, Wednesday, possibly Thursday. Live streams every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Be there. Make sure noties are on. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope those of you in the in colder climates are looking forward to the fact that it is going to be spring, or it's fucking close. March, we're on third base. This is how I feel about March. We're on third base right now, and we're having glimpses of it. Like this week in Pittsburgh, it's going to be 60 degrees, 65 degrees. It's going to be wonderful. Easy. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Just about to end the stream though. If you have a question, get it in there. Otherwise, boys, yeah, we just got to make it through the rest of March. Like yesterday, last week it was 70 degrees one day. Oh, fuck yeah, cool, awesome. Prompted me to have to go literally buy new spring shit because I didn't have much spring shit out, like shirts and stuff. And then it snowed yesterday a little bit, and then it snowed 3 days ago. Not a lot. So it's still bipolar at the moment, but we're very close. We're on third base, and we're going to have spring soon. All right, brothers. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for the questions. See you soon. Bye-bye.